When someone who doesn't know anything about cycling walks into this shop, I get excited and nervous. Excited because, we get to introduce cycling to somebody new. Nervous because so much can go wrong. I think it is fair to say that the cycling industry and even the cycling community does not do a good job convincing people to bike. I'm still trying to figure out what kind of questions to ask when somebody is inquiring about buying their first bicycle. And then the question that I have sort of settled into is, what is the purpose of the bike? Or versions of that question, or like one that I saw online is somebody asking, what does cycling look like to you? And that will give me a better sense of what kind of bike to offer that person. Because cycling is many things. It can just be for a simple commute, or it could be a way to find little mini adventures in your neighborhood. Or it could be a very simple way to exercise. And after asking that question to some of the customers that came in, some of them were asking about what bike that they can use as a commuter bike. And to be honest with you, pretty much any bike is a good commuter bike. And in fact, the traction bikes that we have on the shop are really good commuter bikes. They're friendly for beginners, big tire clearance, making it easy to ride, and they're really fun bikes. But if you are new to cycling and you're not familiar with bicycle prices, the price of a pretty good bike is surprisingly high. And don't get me wrong, you don't need to buy an expensive bike, especially if you just want to use it as a commute. And you can buy bikes that are, let's say, 5,000, 10,000 pesos somewhere on the streets, and then you could get those bikes. But based on experience, it seems like maybe a week or a month of riding those bikes, something will break and you may have to have a part repaired. And those are not the bikes that I want to sell to people. I want to sell bikes that give them a fighting chance to fall in love with cycling. I don't want to have that conversation where, yeah, you can buy this bike, it's fine, but you may need to come back in a week or two to fix a derailleur. I don't want to do that. I want to sell bikes that people will be proud to have and that will last them a long time, even though it might cost them a little bit more. So that got me thinking, how do I sell affordable bikes that can have a genuine chance of making people excited about that bike? And then I remembered my fixed gear Jamis Beatnik. So I first purchased it so that I could commute with it, and it was originally a single speed, and it was a fun bike. It still is a fun bike. So I thought, okay, I'll get the Jamis Beatnik. I replaced some of the parts that needed replacing, cleaned it up, repainted it, gave it the little villain flavor, and here's what it looks like right now. I had to install a brake on it first. We'll have to have Kenneth do that. Added a little villain flavor, made it the villain Beatnik. Currently fixed gear, but you can change it to a single speed because it has the flip chip in the back, and then can fit 700 by 28 tires. So we changed some of the parts that needed changing. It's a new crank, for example, some new grips, a new saddle, and gave it a nice little paint job. And it is a fun urban bike. Even until now, this is still my favorite bike for zipping through the city. The goal of the shop is to get more people into cycling, and if I can find bikes that just need a little bit of TLC and maybe some style, to get people to fall in love with cycling, then I'm gonna look for bikes like that. So we'll see how this goes. And I was shooting outside and it is really hot outside right now. I was outside for less than 5 minutes and I'm already sweating. Oops, looks like we need to restock the no boring coffee cold brew stash. So this is a quick segue to the vlog sponsor, Curve Coffee collaborators. As regular visitors to the shop know, here at the Villain Cycles Bike Shop, we serve cold brew coffee. We are able to do that without an espresso machine, a kitchen, or even a faucet in the shop. We just use the Toddy cold brew system coupled with Curve's cold brew beans. It's super easy to make cold brew. I simply put the silicone stopper and filter in the brewing container before filling it up with coffee and water. I generally use 400 grams of coffee grounds to 2,000 grams of water. I put the brewing container inside our chiller, wait 18 hours, and then voila! I have myself coffee concentrate that I use to make cold brew. This system allows small businesses like mine to serve delicious coffee while still being able to focus on the non-coffee parts of our business, like running a bike shop. So visit curve.coffee to get your Toddy cold brew system along with the Curve cold brew blend. Thanks Curve for sponsoring the vlog. So this Villain Beatnik is going to be the first step towards trying to find affordable commuter-friendly bicycles and offering them here at the shop. Because if the response to this bike is positive, then I will be on the lookout for more affordable commuter-friendly bikes that need some TLC and maybe a little style for the discerning commuter. It's definitely going to be cheaper than the traction stuff, but for commuting, hopefully just as effective. After all, the goal of this bike shop is to get more people to bike, and hopefully the Villain Beatnik can do for somebody else what it did for me and make somebody a lifelong cyclist. I told Kenneth not to put the brakes yet because taking pictures and video of a brakeless fixed gear bike, it looks so nice, but it was so sketchy just crossing the road. So he's putting brakes on it right now. If this bike can convince more people to start cycling, then I will consider this a win. Let's see what happens. Ciao, more videos soon.